investigating changes in volume and surface area. The Wheatie Bites cereal company currently sells their cereals in boxes with the dimensions shown. They hire you to help them create a box that can hold twice as much cereal. So here's our original Wheatie Bites cereal box. It's 8 by 13 and by 2. So we're going to label the 8 inches as the length, 13 is the height, and 2 is the width. So how much cereal can the original box hold? Well, how much something holds is the volume. And the volume of a rectangular prism or a cereal box is length times width times height. So 8 times 13 times 2. Which is 208 cubic inches. The company has asked you to come up with 3 options for the new package. Complete the chart with the dimensions of your designs. In the last column, show the amount that the cereal has doubled. So we want to double the amount. Our dimensions are 8 by 13 by 2, and that equals 208. So to double 208, I need to multiply by 2 to get me 416. So I need to multiply by 2. So in order to get 416, I can change the dimensions. I can take the first dimension of length and double that and get a 16 and leave the other one. Or I could double the middle one. In this instance is the height, so I could make it 26. Or I could double the width and make it 4. So let's look what that looks like. So here are our original dimensions, 8 by 12 by 13. So to double it, just remember I'm going to have 2 times this amount. So I can make that 2 and times it by the 8, which makes 16. Or I can take the 2 and times it by the 2 and make a 4. Or I can take that 2 and multiply it by the 13 and make it 26. So now I have a 16 by 2 by 13. Or I can have an 8 by 4 by 13, or an 8 by 2 by 26. And when I multiply them all, they're 416. Because I've taken these 3 numbers in essence, and then multiplied it by 2. I multiplied the first number by 2, then the second number by 2, and then the third number by 2. And that's how I went from 208 to 416. And I can do that because we're multiplying all the numbers. How did you change the dimensions of the box in order to double the amount of cereal? And I doubled one of the dimensions. If I wanted to triple it, I would triple one of the dimensions. So you only change one of the dimensions by the amount that you wanted the whole thing to change. And this only works for volume. Now that you've designed the package, you need to determine how much cardboard you'll need to make each one. So here we have our original figure of 8 by 2 by 13. Here's our formula for surface area of a prism. And so now remember we had these are original dimensions, and then we doubled the first one, and then we doubled the second one, and then we doubled the third one. Now the curious thing about this is we multiplied a dimension by 2, but it's not going to double the amount of surface area because each of these terms is being added. So it's not going to have the same effect that multiplying did. So go ahead and calculate the surface area for the first, second, and third box. So the first one requires 532 square inches. The second one requires 376 square inches. And the third one requires 552 square inches. So the company wants you to minimize the cost of the materials. Which of your options should you choose to manufacture? So if they want to minimize the cost of the materials, they want the least amount of cardboard, so that would be option 2. And I said I would choose option 2 because it holds twice as much as the original package and uses the least amount of cardboard.